Hello there, televiewers. We hope that you're having a great Saturday. Thank you very much for joining us on yet another edition of The Diary. Well, there are several reasons why couples today could experience some turbulent times, and one of those reasons could be gender roles. It is true that over time gender roles have changed to the pleasure or displeasure of some partners. Goes without saying that nowadays it is difficult to specifically spell out the role of the husband and the wife in the marriage. So let's talk about what gender roles are today, how they are evolving. We will narrow down to specifics like cooking and cleaning and so much more. So don't go away. You want to stay with us. When we come back, of course, you meet my guests. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, you're watching The Diary on STV. We are live this Saturday in our studios here in the economic capital, Douala, and we are discussing gender roles in marriage. It's now time for you to meet the beautiful people who are with me on set to discuss this very interesting subject. I'm going to begin with the nice lady sitting next to me. Her name is Renangu Nji. She's a fitness coach. You can see. She's an entrepreneur. She's a mother and a wife. Rena, it's good to have you on The Diary.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
Great. I know there's so much we're going to be exchanging on in the course of the show. Now, the other lady on set today, someone you have the habit on seeing on The Diary that some of you have really missed. I got a few messages on The Diary of people asking, where is JJ? Well, here is JJ. JJ Shamu is a TV personality, an event host, an opinion leader. JJ, always good to have you.
It's always good to be here. I'm here, guys. I'm here.
Yes. So let Manda breathe.
Please let Manda breathe, please.
And the lone cock in the house, Mr. Eno Aku, who is a chartered accountant that I am very happy to have again on the show. Eno, it's good to have you always.
Thank you so much, Manda. I'm happy to be here today, and I want to say good morning to all my phenomenal ASO 94 classmates. Okay.
I hope that they are watching. Now, very recently actually, a Cameroonian blogger, Kiki Bandi, she made a post on social media, and I'm going to read that post to you. She said, cooking for a man is a compliment, not a duty. Women should rethink marrying men who can't cook. Now, that was my inspiration for today's edition of the show, because she got quite the reaction on social media. There were lots of people who came with different opinions on the subject. We're actually supposed to have her on the show, but for some reason it's not been possible. I would like to get your reactions. Let me start with you, Rena. Yeah. When you read that post on Facebook, what did you think about it?
I actually thought it made some sense.
Okay.
But I am not one of those who give titles in marriages. Like, marriage is companionship. It's a situation where you compromise to make it work. So I don't think any of the chores or whatever in marriage should be someone's duty.
Okay.
It should be something that we do together, myself and my husband, to make it work, to move forward in every situation. It could be cooking, could be laundry, whatever. Yeah.
Okay. And JJ, what do you think about? What's your opinion on that statement?
I would like you to read that again, please.
Okay, I'll read that for you. Cooking for a man is a compliment, not a duty. Women should rethink marrying men who can't cook.
Cooking for a man is a compliment.
Mm-hmm. Not a duty, she says.
Well, it can be a compliment, but it's a duty too.
Okay. All right.
That's my stand.
And why do you think so?
Because what is the duty of a woman? You have to cook for your... If you don't cook for your man, who will cook for your man, please?
Well, I think what she means is the man could cook with the woman too. Anyways, we'll break that down a little more in the course of the show. Okay. But I'd like to get the opinion of the lone man on set. What do you think? What comes to your mind when you hear that line?
It should be, women should be so proud to say that they can cook for their husbands. I can cook. I would love to cook, but I won't cook because I have a wife.
Okay.
It's not an obligation for her to cook for me, but it should be her pride to cook for me.
Okay.
Consequently, I'll not be going to the kitchen.
Right.
You will not be going to the kitchen because you can't cook, or because as the husband you can't cook. You just can't. You don't have a place in the kitchen. I just want to know.
We need to define who is supposed to do what.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah. In that definition, it gives you the respect as a woman, because it's going to be so absurd to find me in the kitchen all the time, isn't it? While my wife is maybe in the sitting room. The woman's pride is in the kitchen, and if she does that well, then the husband is happy. But vice versa, it becomes problematic, because the truth is, most women think that because there is this philosophy of today of equality, but let equality not drain your brain in you refusing to understand what you are supposed to do. And I think that that's what a lot of girls today are suffering in their marital homes.
Okay. Now, I'm going to ask this general question. Rena, feel free to go first.
Okay.
In your opinion, since we are narrowing things down, beginning with cooking, in your opinion, how should the task of cooking be managed in a family, between a couple, the husband and the wife? How do you think it should be managed?
I think it should depend on their unique situation, because in a home where you have just, say, a husband and 1 or 2 kids, and the wife is working, he is working, say a 9-to-5 job, they both have such jobs, and on days where the husband, I'm talking about the husband, not the wife, is free or is off and the wife is at work, I think it's only normal for him to make something for the kids to eat. He cannot stay home all day with the kids and expect me to go to work from morning to like 5 or 6 p.m. and then assuming they're hungry, there's no food in the house, and he's waiting for me to come and make food. To me, it doesn't make sense, actually. But when you bring topics like that in today's world, everyone goes to feminism, and it's like you don't want to do it because you think your husband is equal. I am not of that ideology of equality where it has to be 50-50, if I'm washing plates, my husband has to do this. But if he has the disposition to do that, then he should step in and do it. So if I'm at work, he's at home and there's no food, why not make something for the family?
Okay, that's Rena's opinion. JJ, what do you say on the subject?
I think there is something we call planning. Like she said, if you're working, before you go to work, you can get up and do something for your kids. You understand? And I think, like he rightly said, for you to cook for your man, right, is a pride as a woman. I don't expect someone else to cook for my husband. If he is working, I am working normally and naturally. We plan, or I plan. I know, okay, I'll get up at this time and make his food before I go, given that I know I might come back late from work. I don't expect myself, because I'm working, I'm going to go out, and my husband will go out, and he comes back, and he makes his food just because, it's not a duty. No. I have the obligation to cook for my husband.
Okay.
Because I don't expect him to go eat outside.
All right. Okay, and Anna?
When she spoke about her responsibility going out for work, but she didn't consider the fact that she has a responsibility to do a proper planning for herself.
Okay.
Work begins at probably, let's say, 7:30. You need to wake up on time and to ensure that everything is organized, so much so that there is fluidity in everything we do at home. If you, because of your so-called professional schedule, you are unable to devote time for the home, then you are not yet ready to be a wife.
And now
we can proceed with the girlfriend issues, but when you want to be a mother, a wife, you must have an appropriate plan for yourself. Remember, it's for yourself. When you look at the Eurocentric world, the divorce rate is extremely high. Why? Because our brothers and sisters who are over there, that divorce rate is also affecting them a lot. Reasons being that we try to copy a lot what the Eurocentric people, that is their cultural way of heritage. It's not what we grew up with. However, I'm not sticking with the fact that we should remain on cultural issues. We should be very, very pragmatic to ask yourself the question, if I get up and do a proper planning, will there be food at home? It's not because I, the husband, I have much time or I'm home. That means that I have to cook for the kids. I won't take that as my responsibility. You, the woman, you should be so happy to tell yourself, and there should be that self-fulfillment
yeah.
that you actually did it and the day was a success.
Okay, I want to stick with you a little more. You know, you're a very happily married man to a beautiful wife and 3 amazing kids. Now, do you mean that this was like a pre-condition to marriage? If your wife, for example, could not cook, would you have said, "I'm not getting married to you because you can't cook"?
Okay, that's a very good question.
Yes.
Very good question. Let me make it very easy for you to understand. There are meals that my wife couldn't cook, but with time, she got to cook those meals. You know why? Because I won't cook, and she has to learn how to do it.
Okay.
And guess what? My house help assisted her in so many of those things. It means you challenge yourself as a wife to tell yourself that you can do this, but because I have Manda, I have JJ, isn't it? I can still learn from them. Now, those things that I know, I can as well share with you. But it is your sole responsibility to ensure that we have all those things at home. It's, if you couldn't cook, and I decide to get married to you, it means I've taken upon myself the responsibility to go through life with that risk. Because at the end of the day, if you make a decision at the inception of your relationship, isn't it, you walk along with it. Men who do accept the fact that their wives can cook, it means the wife should also accept the fact that you'll be eating in the restaurant. How often will a woman be so comfortable that the husband is always eating outside? That becomes an issue, isn't it? So consequently, you need to beef up.
Right. Just to let you know, televiewers, that you too can participate into this show. We are live, and one of the great things about being live is that you can call. The numbers are going to be on the screen any minute now, and feel free to use them. Give us a call. Tell us what you think. There you go. Call us. No text messages. Calls only. And tell us what you think about today's subject. If you have a question, a comment, something to share with us, please feel free to. Now, we are going to continue our discussion on set. And Rena, I'm going to ask you the same question I asked Eno just now. Okay. Do you think that whether or not the wife cooks should be something that is discussed before 2 people decide that you're going to be husband and wife?
Yes,
okay.
Absolutely. I love to eat. I love to eat good food, and I don't expect to want to eat out on a daily. When it's necessary, if I can't, make it home at some point, I can eat somewhere, but saying that I can't cook personally doesn't make sense to me. So I think every man should consider that before getting married, because there's always going to be hunger at home. We need to eat. But my thing is, step in when it's necessary. It's not like my husband has to be in the kitchen always. No.
Okay. You don't have to make a schedule.
No.
You cook Mondays, you cook Tuesdays.
No. Okay. That's like putting a percentage on. It has to be 50%. No. If I'm not home, if I'm not available to do something, you can take the initiative to step in and do that for me.
Okay. Right. Now, JJ, you believe that it's important for the woman to cook for the wife. You should be proud. For the woman to cook for the husband. Yeah. You should be proud to cook for your husband. Does it mean that girls who don't know how to cook will never get married or should never get married? Let me start with you, JJ, before I come to Emma.
What happened to learning?
Okay.
You can learn how to cook. It's very easy. Take, for example, I watched a documentary where Queen Beyonce, said she went to a culinary school because she wanted to cook for her husband. If Beyonce can do that, then what more of you? We can all learn. Even if you know how to cook and you notice my husband loves eating this food, this particular meal outside, you can learn how to do it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's very simple. Take, for example, he spoke about the house help. Nowadays, when you even talk of ladies who professionally, taken with regards to time. It's very easy. You have house helps here and there. You can hire one. Women, even to be sincere, women nowadays don't do much.
Okay.
The cleaning is done by the house help, the washing and all of that. So what's there to most of them don't even go to the market. They don't. You can send your house help to go to the market and you do the cooking. I don't see there's nothing wrong with a woman cooking for her husband.
Okay, you wanted to say something?
Yeah.
Rena?
Not everyone is comfortable with house helps in their house, given the videos and things we see on social media about, house helps doing this and that.
Yeah.
So I have personally seen people who are not comfortable with having house helps. They take care of their kids themselves. They kind of manage that, So this involves them having to cook for their kids and husband, do laundry and all that themselves. I've seen couples who do that.
All right.
Yeah, and what if you're in that situation and the house help is not available to do this or that and you're not home? Can your husband not help you? I'm not saying that it's, he has to do it. You can't force people to do something, but
it'd be
if,
nice.
he can step in to help when it's necessary. That is my thing. It's
All
not
right.
his duty. We are here to make it work.
Okay, it is not his duty, but is it yours as a wife?
Personally, I don't put titles in my relationship or marriage, like it's your duty to do this. When it's, when it's possible for us to do things, we do it to make it work. We are one. We are trying to make this work together. It could be cooking, it could be trying to, do anything. Just generally, it doesn't boil down to the kitchen only.
Okay.
Step in when possible, necessary.
All right. So if a girl can't cook, does it mean that she's doomed? She can't get married because no one should marry the one who can't cook. Is that what we are saying?
Manda, do not hope against hope.
Not.
Things should be straight. The problem is, at times, women these days don't seem to get it.
Okay.
And apparently they appreciate people who don't tell them the truth. Reasons why you get into a relationship, 1-2 years, you start having problem in your marital home.
Exactly.
Because the guy has been quiet all this long, struggling to keep himself comfortable. Don't accept that. Don't accept that. If your husband doesn't tell you, let me tell you something. A good wife, isn't it? When meal is served on the table, you look at the quantity for which your husband did eat. It tells you whether that meal was delicious or not.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of a smart woman. Woman, don't give yourself the opportunity by saying you are so occupied. In terms of marriage, no, don't do that. You're breaking your home. Before you know it, I'll find comfort somewhere else. Because the guy will sit there, he'll be grumbling, but because probably he knows you're a nagging wife, isn't it? He might not feel so comfortable to tell you that what you're doing is not appropriate, isn't it? He sits quiet, but he's there dying in silence. What he does is, they say the teeth and the mouth live together, and that's what we call the compromise, isn't it? But again, to what level am I going to compromise? Do not accept that as a wife. There are some little skills that you can develop. She just made mention of the fact that if you don't have a house help. Most people don't have house help, probably have brothers and sisters with whom they live with. And consequently, they are also supplementing what the house help would have done. It's an issue of making a decision.
Exactly.
So in a case where you have your brother and sister at home, you still don't expect me to get into the kitchen. Listen, I won't get into the kitchen to give you that satisfaction. I'll let you know. You have to do it.
Okay.
Manda, when your car has a breakdown, it's not a woman who opens it. More often than not, your wife calls you from distance. Even when you're in the office, she tells you that the car has an issue. Because you, the man, it is you have that responsibility as well. Isn't it? You have the responsibility. If you want to do it, do a survey. When we have maybe ceremonies at home, who are those who are in the kitchen and who are those who are in charge of drinks? More often than not, the men are in charge of drinks, isn't it? Another example is when there is maybe we have to, there is maybe somebody's, we have to, somebody died and the person has to be buried. How often do you find women digging the grave? You don't find a woman digging the grave, isn't it? But you won't tell me that because the woman had, there were so many women around, isn't it? They should go and dig the grave.
Yeah.
We should do what we call segregation of duty, right? You have your responsibility, I have mine, and I bet you if you can't cook and you don't want to learn how to cook, we can go together.
Okay, I want to put this question out there. When the show started, I said, nowadays, you know, things are changing, gender roles are changing. I'd like to know what you all think on this issue. Now, nowadays, society, even men, are reclaiming for working women. I don't want to marry somebody who is just going to come and consume, who doesn't do anything. They want women who participate, you know, in the finances of the house, in paying the bills and other things. And there are even families where the woman is the one who takes charge, you know, of the financial responsibilities. Now, would you all still say, in that case, you'd expect the wife to go work nine hours, you know, as many hours as the man or even more, and come back home and still shoulder all the cooking and cleaning of the house? JJ, I'm going to start with you. Would it be realistic to think that a woman who works as hard as her husband, who spends the same number of hours or even more, should handle, you know, alone all the cooking of the house?
I said earlier that things have been made very easy these days. You have house helps.
Not everybody can afford one. Okay, before we come to you, we have a caller. Hello, good afternoon, sir. You're on the diary. You're welcome.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello?
Yes, hello.
Yes.
We can hear you.
Are you getting me?
Yes, we can get you. You're on the diary. What's your opinion?
Hello?
Hello. Okay. Please
Yes,
wait.
my opinion is that normally we know that everybody has duty in life, and in every duty we need assistance. There's a need for an assistant. That's why in the Bible God said to Adam, I will give you a helpmate. So every duty and every responsibility needs an assistant. For example, if that woman has delivered, there are just two of them with the husband in the house. You don't have a relative that is living with them. And the woman just deliver, that man have to assist, prepare food. Even though it's a woman's duty, the man have to be ready to assist. I remember when I was growing, my father, he used to cook when my mother is not available. My father used to prepare nice food for us to eat. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Unfortunately, we did not get your name. Please.
Hello?
Yes.
Yeah, bye. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. I was saying we didn't get your name, unfortunately. When you call us, dear viewers, please make sure you stay away from your receiver. Okay, just talk to us via phone. You hear us just fine. You don't have to be close to your TV set. If you're obliged to be close to your TV set, then turn down the volume. It makes communication even better. Thank you again, sir, and thank you for your contribution. You too can. You watching us now, you too can tell us what you think on the subject. If you have a comment to make, if you have a question, please feel free to give us a call. And it is true that the lights are busy, but keep trying. You'll get through to us. Now, JJ, before we come back to what you said, the gentleman who just called us said something.
Yeah.
I want to ask this question to Eno in particular. He says if it's just the two of you and say the woman puts to birth, for example, she's not in any situation to go cook or do, would you still say no, the woman cooks and I don't cook? What would you do in that situation?
Manda, I can tell you that a lot of women, the smart ones, they know what they have to do.
Even when they can't cook
Manda,
at the moment.
we have sisters.
Okay.
We have wives and we have mothers. You find your mother, even though she's not feeling too well, isn't it, doing the coordination.
Okay. Coordinating.
She's coordinating. You find maybe your wife not feeling too well. And you know, the truth is, most wives don't even allow their house help to do the cooking.
Sure.
They just do the maybe the whatsoever, and they are the ones doing the cooking. When it comes to cooking, most women are the ones who do it.
Yep.
Now, and most women, even when they are sick, they still ensure that they do it, except she's on a sick bed. And that's the beauty of a woman. And that's the quality that God has given to women that we men can never quantify.
Can you please help me answer the question where you are there with your wife, she just gave birth and not in the position to really stand and cook. When I gave birth, I had stitches, and I couldn't really stand for more than 5 minutes. I think for the first 2 days or 3, I could not stand. I mean, it was really difficult for me to do anything. And if you were in that situation, just you and I and my daughter, what would you do for me to eat?
Okay, very good question. You know, that's why I keep saying, for women who are smart, a smart woman will tell you that she got this cousin of hers. Come and do something for my husband.
What if all the cousins? I'm from Bamenda. I am from Bamenda, and I don't have too many relatives in Douala. I am not someone who likes to put my burden on people. So would want it to end in my house. I don't even want people to think that I can't eat. That I just gave birth and can't eat. So
we are in we are in a context whereby we don't live all alone.
Okay.
That's the reality.
Right.
No, so you still wouldn't cook?
Renata, if you just hang on for a minute. So I guess the point is, correct me if I'm wrong, you're saying not once will you ever enter the kitchen for any reason.
You know,
you're not
there's a good way, there's a way you are coining it, isn't it? It's like your editorial line is, let it be that it is ipso facto that it can work, isn't it? But the beauty which I'm struggling to paint out is a woman who is smart, isn't it? Even when she's in difficulties. It's inappropriate to talk about my wife, but I might just give some few quotations. While she was having my third baby, isn't it? I was doing the running around, but there was food. Because she could call X person, isn't it? To ensure that she could call the mother, isn't it? She could call this person. And that's the smartness of women.
Can I please
she knows that
just let him finish.
She could create a space of alternative solution. If you don't create a space of alternative solution, you and I, if there's a breakdown, you call me, isn't it? I'm not a mechanic, right? But you are calling me because you know your husband will provide a solution. And it's a beautiful solution.
So,
okay. JJ, you wanted to say something?
Yes, I want to say something. In as much as I say cooking is a woman's duty, there are certain things I won't say a man shouldn't cook. Because this thing Mr. Aina is trying to explain here, truly I've been trying to understand, but I seem not to get it. Mr. Aina, you were asked a very simple question. Down to earth. If your woman, like she said, if she has maybe stitches and she can't cook. I think when you even started,
what if I don't know how to cook?
No, what if you know how to cook?
Exactly what I wanted to ask. That's what I wanted to ask. Okay. If you know how to cook and we are in that situation, you won't go into the kitchen because, you know, it's my duty and I'm not available to do that. You would outsource to someone whose cooking is, you know.
You know, JJ, I don't want to take the exception, isn't it? I want to stay on our daily life, daily responsibility, because these are just the exception to the rule. The exception to the rule is, even at midnight, there could be an incident at home that could require me to step up. And in that situation, I will have to step up.
This is just the first time you're accepting that you
let's
step in.
Let me finish.
First instance.
Let's give him the opportunity to finish.
Those are exceptions
Carry
to
on.
the rule.
Sure.
But don't take the exception of the rule to make it the norm. Because when it happens that you make it the norm, isn't it? You now discover how reluctant your wife becomes, because she now finds that, oh, she can still sit backward and you, the husband, you can step up. Don't give the opportunity. But when the exception of the rule sets in, you then step up.
Now I get it.
It's clearer.
Now.
Which means that in that situation.
Because it looks like we were talking of something else at the end of the day, so it's clearer, yeah.
Right. We're going to go back to what we were discussing a few moments ago before the call came in, and it is this: for women who put in as many hours as men and who are out there working, bringing money back into the house as well, do you expect them to cook, to do all the cooking? For example, Lorena, if you work like that, you work with your husband, you both go out in the morning, you return in the evening, would you be ready to do all the cooking by yourself?
No.
Okay. Why?
Because if he is at home, given the situation that for example, I pay the bills, which means I have a whole lot of, mental work to do, considering business, whatever brings in the money. And I have to do all that during the day. And then I come home, and maybe I kept breakfast and lunch, and there's no dinner, or I'd say there was breakfast. And then I have to come home and probably do dinner. Dinner is okay, but you didn't eat during the day because I was out hustling to pay bills, and you went hungry with the kids because I wasn't home to make food. It doesn't make sense. I think you should step in, make something for you to eat. You can even make something and keep mine. I come back and eat, and then I have to, prepare whatever we'll use the next day. It could be food or whatever, But talking about you staying home, doing nothing, I bring money, we pay the bills and all that, and you say because cooking is a woman's duty, you didn't eat during the day because I wasn't home to cook, and then I come back home and say I come back like 6, 7 p.m. and cook. By 10 p.m. we're eating dinner because it's my duty. You couldn't make something small for us to eat. For me, I think that if I'm finishing, the cooking I'm finishing at 10 p.m. should be something we're using for the next day or so. If you were home all day.
All right.
Yeah.
DJ?
When you're getting into a man's house, okay, you should, sometimes getting in with a premeditated mind doesn't work for you as a woman.
Exactly.
Okay? It's very simple. Me being here today is to say, my voice actually is to say that cooking is a woman's duty, which doesn't mean that, like I said earlier, that a man cannot cook. A man cannot do it sometimes, right? I, for once, I grew up with my parents, okay, and my dad cooks very well, and most often he always cooked. My mom, whether she's home or not, even when I was very big, like very mature, my dad used to, he doesn't care. Like, if you like you sleep, I'm going to do the cooking, But it doesn't mean that the woman should say, okay, because my husband is cooking, I don't give a,
Exactly. It's not his duty.
It's a woman's duty.
Exactly.
Now, if you're married to a man and you know that it's your duty to cook, trust me, you will do everything possible for food to be available in that house. Whether you're working from 1 a.m. to 1 a.m., you will create time for it.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. I'm going to ask a general question. My questions do not necessarily define my opinion on the subject. I'm just asking questions to make it as interesting as possible. So are we trying to say that a woman who is a rocket scientist, always doing very well, she could be whatever, a medical doctor, a general manager, she's excelling, she's loyal, she loves her husband, she takes care of the kids, she does everything else except cooking, is not a good enough woman? Is that what we are saying?
That's not what, me particularly, that's not what I am saying, okay? I don't know about the others, but that's not what I am saying. It's, marriage is communication between two people.
Exactly.
All right? So, it depends on the people involved. Before Mr. Ako got married to his wife, definitely he knew that his wife is like this, it's like that, it's like this, it's like that. So, if she is a rocket scientist, like we say it, and she doesn't have the time to cook,
or the knowledge.
Or
even the knowledge.
Or the knowledge. But saying she doesn't have the knowledge, trust me, it's a bit weird, because if you grew up with your mom in the house and you were always available when she was cooking, you would definitely know at 60% how to cook.
Assume that the woman grew up with her father because the mother was not around and the father did not know how to cook at all.
And she wasn't eating at all.
How would the lady, or they had a house help who cooked?
So when the house help was cooking, where was she? She's a lady, for crying out loud.
Okay. So as a function of being a woman,
so
you must know how to cook.
Being a kid, you should already know, even without anyone teaching you, that you have to be in the kitchen because you're a girl child. And because when you turn 18 or so, which is the approved age for women to get married in Cameroon, I think, because when you get 18, when you're 18, you get married. The world, the society, your community assumes that you should know how to cook, regardless of where you grew up, how you were brought up. I think no, it's not right for us to think that everyone has to have certain skills because of their gender. I was lucky to grow up with my mom, myself, elder brother and sister, and we cook really good. But if anyone grew up with my dad, he or she wouldn't know how to cook. And you wouldn't conclude that because I'm a woman, I should know how to cook regardless of where I grew up. Regardless, you have to learn. You have to learn. Me, I don't support how to cook. You have to know how to cook because I love good food.
Okay.
Yes.
At the end of the day, what are you saying? If you have to learn, it means you should know how to cook.
Exactly. But she asked if you don't know how to cook
At all.
at all.
Because there are indeed women.
And you said that she has to know how to cook, regardless of where she grew up. Because she was asking if the lady grew up with her dad.
Someone who
It's
doesn't
very
know how to
simple.
cook.
Exactly.
Even in school, they teach how to cook. Yes.
Right.
Even in school.
Okay.
Yes, we are taught how to cook.
So
You might not be taught how to cook everything, but at least
the basics.
The basics.
Yeah.
Okay.
Around the neighborhood, you learn how to cook.
Okay.
In your homes, you learn how to cook. Come on, man.
I think we're actually saying, without saying the words exactly, we are saying that a woman who doesn't know how to cook is a problem.
That's not what we are saying.
But we are saying there are ways to learn how to cook around.
Exactly, you can learn how to cook.
Doesn't mean doesn't mean everybody can do that. Doesn't mean everybody learn that.
It means you don't want to learn.
Your question.
What if?
Your question was,
Okay,
if somebody can cook,
Okay, Rena,
should the
give me-
person not marry?
Okay, give me a sec. Give me a second. All right. Let me try to use another example. There are chores some people don't like. I don't like to iron because I hate to sweat. I don't mind washing. It's good. Some people don't like washing. Some people don't like, different chores.
Yeah.
What if a woman says, I'm not going to learn how to cook because I don't like to cook. I don't like to be in the kitchen. So are we saying that she's less of a woman because she does not like that particular chore? I
want to start by saying, in the marital home, there is no title. We were talking about rocket scientists.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. There is no title in the marital home.
Right.
It's you and your husband.
Right.
In that environment, we need peace, love, and harmony.
Right.
How do you define harmony in your marital home? It's when I know for sure if there is an electrical failure at home, I don't expect my wife to be climbing on the roof. I don't expect her to do that. I would do it.
What if she likes to or she wants to do it?
She won't do it, Manda.
Okay.
I want us to be realistic and
Okay.
pragmatic. When there's an electrical failure, the husband steps up, isn't it? When there is a problem with the plumbing system at home, the husband steps up, isn't it? Consequently, when you have an issue in the kitchen, you should be proud, isn't it? To tell yourself, you did it. And you did it appropriately. Remember, Manda, I don't want you to cook for me. I want you to cook delicious meal. It should be on the line. It's not you just going into the kitchen and crafting something out from it. No. Cooking is also a talent. Work for it, isn't it? And deliver quality for your husband to feed on. When you start, I bet you your grandmother, Rena, your grandmother will be so upset to see me pounding fufu and
all her kids pound fufu and arrow.
Let me tell you something.
And they do it daily.
When
like most of the times, my uncles cook all the time.
I'll guarantee you that if your grandmother visits
not even fufu.
If your grandmother visits your brother and gets there and discovers that maybe your brother's wife is in the parlor, isn't it, watching a series, and your brother is in the kitchen, isn't it, doing the pounding, she'll be so upset.
That's different.
I'm just giving you an example.
If he is giving a helping hand, is different.
Okay.
That tells you
from being in the kitchen.
No, helping hand is something different, isn't it? I could still be as well in the kitchen, and maybe my wife tells me that, "Bo, help me, let's slice the meat," isn't it? She could be maybe struggling with maybe some things in the pot while the flame is too high, and she tells you that maybe I'm blending something, just help me. That is something different, isn't it? That is part of the harmony. That is part of the harmony.
Can I chip in something?
We'll just let him finish.
But for you to ensure that the core of your marriage, it's maintained, which is love, isn't it?
Yeah.
That love goes with truth. And the truth about it is that you, the woman, you have the responsibility for the kitchen to ensure that everything is in place. And I, as a husband, I have all the responsibilities at home. When you want to swap things and bring it out...
Can you please give me some of the male responsibilities at home that
I just told you about the plumbing issues. I just told you about
we'll allow him finish.
I talked about the electrical failures at home. How often when there is electrical failure do you get into to check the meter or you look at the wires in the house? How often do you do that? But I can guarantee you that's what your husband checks. Even when there is blackout, your husband runs out to check what happened. Is it that there's the failure at home or it's a generic failure? You won't do it. So reasons why, because men, when you inculcate the fact that because when it happens, the husband immediately starts checking where are the kids, isn't it? And tells you that, can you please look for where there's candle or maybe the rechargeable lamp, isn't it? Why? Because he wants the aspect of security at home to be maintained. That's how he feels. Consequently, when it gets to the kitchen aspect of it, my dear, I bet you take responsibility.
Of course. I'm not saying that I'm not responsible for my kitchen. I keep saying that if my husband can step in when necessary, he should do that. That is my take.
Now, there are some men who say they are comfortable cooking. They like the idea of going to the kitchen to cook. They offer, every once in a while, honey, let me make the meal today. I want to make this thing. I want to cook for you. Is there anything wrong with that? Is that a taboo that a man who wants to get into the kitchen?
There is, in a marital home, nothing is a taboo.
Right.
There is no taboo in a marital home.
Okay.
But you must have it at the back of your mind that in as much as it's not a taboo, but you think that I should have that responsibility. There are things which are inherent as we grow up. There are inherent things that that, okay, when there is blackout, you need to do this, isn't it?
Yeah.
Those are inherent things that we are growing up with. But there are other things like what she has been saying about maybe the exception of the rule. But again, I don't want to always use the exception of the rule. I want us to be pragmatic to say, this is my responsibility and I'm taking full charge of it, irrespective of my profession. That profession is in your office.
Yeah.
I don't care how much you are earning as a salary. That's not my business.
Sure.
I got married to an individual, that is Manda. And Manda portrayed the following qualities and reasons why we got married. I didn't marry Manda because that job that you're talking of today, when you lose it tomorrow, isn't it? Where will you stand?
Yeah.
Because you have already outsmarted maybe your responsibilities, and the man has overtaken shadow of you even. And guess what? When you start doing all those exceptional issues, you start being outsmarted by your husband. And when your husband starts outsmarting you, isn't it? You lose authority. You lose it.
All right.
Remember, even in the Bible, Sarah was the one doing the doves for Adam.
Okay. Just before we continue, we're going to talk religion since you've opened that page. Before we continue, it seems we are having some issues with the our phone numbers for this afternoon. We apologize. I don't know if we'll be able to have the number up again. If I can get any verification, then I'll let you know. If it would be possible to have the numbers up again, we are having some little issues. I do pray that we can get the numbers up or the phone up and running, and then you can get in contact with us, because we really want to hear from you. But if you have a comment and you can't get across to us, just go to Facebook, find our page, The Diary, and leave us a comment. We'll read it here on set, while hoping, of course, that the numbers will be back and running. Now, you talked about the Bible, and people have usually held on to the Bible. Some people hold on to the Bible when they say a woman should be the one who does the cooking and not the man. I was reading online, and many people were citing Proverbs 31:15, talking about the good wife who wakes up early to do all the work. But then another group of people were saying, apart from this particular portion in the Bible, there is actually no line or no phrase in the Bible that says the woman must do the cooking. So if we're looking at religion, is that if we're looking at the religious side of things, would you really say that the Bible ties the woman down to the kitchen and says you have the obligation of, stirring the pots and putting in the maggi and the salt and the pepper? Talking religion, Rena, would you say the Bible says women must cook?
I really would say that the Bible, from my perspective, stipulates that women should, be helpers to their husbands. Which means that the husband is actually doing something, and you're, helping him. Now, the society has decided to choose, the something that a husband is doing, taking food out of the picture. It could be food and you're helping. What if we say that, or we decide to say that, okay, you're helping your husband in the kitchen? That what God was talking about is him cooking and you are giving a helping hand in the kitchen. What if we take it from that perspective? It's not going to make sense to the African, man who thinks that the woman's place is in the kitchen.
Right. And Gigi, do you have anything to add to that?
I won't really go with the religious perspective of the whole thing.
Okay.
I believe in the happiness, the fun, the joy, and the pride I find, if I have to cook for my husband, when my husband eats my food and is satisfied. Yes, I would rather go with that than look at the religious perspective.
Okay. And again, I want to ask this question. It seems like I'm going, I might be going over the same things, going around the same things over and over again. But just to be really clear, does a woman, a wife, not have the right to, not the right? Would it not be great? Do you think a woman, a wife, wouldn't enjoy? Let's not say the right. Let's use the right words. Let's not make any mistakes. Enjoy, your husband making a nice meal for you to please you, because all the time you make nice meals for your husband. Okay, I'm going to give you a treat. Or I decide once every month I'm going to, do a treat and take care of my wife the way she takes care of me. Would that be something nice for a wife to experience as well?
Manda, we should not be doing cinematography.
It's not cinema.
No, it's real life.
Man, we should not be doing cinematography in the house. You understand?
It's not cinematography.
There are ways, right?
Yeah.
That you can give your wife a treat.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be cooking for her.
It doesn't have to be cooking for. Let me tell you, Manda.
Okay.
Your wife will maybe most women, because this debate, maybe people are watching everywhere. Eurocentric people in the America, they are watching. The contexts are very different.
Yeah, they'll be shocked hearing this.
Yeah, because
if you're watching us out of Cameroon, you're probably, what are they talking about?
Why is this guy saying this? Isn't it? Because maybe that's the configuration of their culture. Now, here you discover that a girl might probably prefer you to take her out, right? Maybe buy her some beautiful jewelries, isn't it? Good perfumes, isn't it?
Yeah.
You can still do that and cook. I cook a nice meal. Just saying.
Yeah. Most women,
Okay.
most women would
That's
prefer
good.
that. Get her maybe beautiful jewelries, beautiful perfumes, get her maybe wonderful outfit. Women love those things. Her joy must not necessarily come when you are cooking. The things, when a woman's car has, when your wife's car has an issue, isn't it? And you help in sorting out the problem, she's also happy. It makes her very happy. Her joy is not only because maybe you are in the kitchen and maybe she finds you are maybe grinding, how do you call it, spices to cook, and that's when she's happy. That no, you know, there is one famous Nigerian actress, Patience Ozokwu, isn't it? In a movie, Cameroon will say she has wifed the husband. You see, because Manda, I'll preferably buy, the woman will prefer, your wife will prefer maybe you get her a beautiful car. It will still make her happy, isn't it?
Can I also answer that?
It will make her happy. It's not only the kitchen aspect, right?
Yeah.
That will bring out the beauty in her.
Okay.
That Eno is in the kitchen and pounding maybe.
You know, the way you put the pounding, it's like it's something that is so difficult that you think you can't do,
I
but a
just want to
woman
let
is
you know.
supposed to do it happily.
No, I
you
just
know?
want to let you know that so many men out there also know how to cook. So many men know how to cook. I have a very good friend. He is extremely good in cooking. But guess what? The beauty of a woman is when that delicious meal.
And you speak more of a woman's pride and beauty more than women themselves. It's like you know more about how they feel
do you-
as women
Okay.
more than they do.
Now, do you know the problem? The issue is when you don't take your responsibility and you want the man to step in, right? I'll step in, but I'll be a very disgruntled husband. You get
Good
it?
you say I.
Yeah.
So
Yes. We are this,
it's
I'm
a
talking
unique
in terms of
situation.
agenda now. I'm not talking about Ako as a
Most
person.
men that I know don't think that way.
My dear, let me tell you something. The men who don't do maybe he's
And I
keeping
don't want you
quiet.
to speak
Okay,
for them.
okay.
I'm not talking for them. But
One
looking
person
on
at a
generic-
time, one
I'm
person at a
looking at
time.
a generic perspective.
Yeah.
I'm looking at a generic perspective
Okay.
that most men wouldn't want to get into the kitchen. Do a survey and get me the results next week.
Okay.
Most men wouldn't want to get there. But
Okay.
I will rather, isn't it, clean the babies.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
I would rather clean maybe the sitting room. I would rather clean and arrange the wardrobe.
Makes sense.
But getting into the kitchen, most men who go there, do a survey, in the next 4-5 years, they'll be having marital issues.
No.
All right.
It makes sense now.
Okay, I think he's sharing his opinion and what he thinks, and of course we respect. We all have different opinions. I know that there are also some men there out there who might think, you know, I don't mind. It's not a problem for me. I like doing it anyways. There are more chefs than there are more male chefs
in Douala, you have
than
most
there
men
are
who
female chefs.
Chefs,
So
yeah.
we totally understand that point. And thank you for taking me out of the cooking. We have spent so much time talking about cooking. Let's talk about other chores in the house. Let's talk about cleaning and other things in the house. Also, some people feel that there's joy in sharing. But there are some husbands, there are some men out there who I do not think that picking up after themselves, for example, or cleaning is their business. No, they go to work, they come back, and that's it. That's it for them. Your wife, Rena, what do you think about that?
Like I said earlier, when you can step in, you should. It shouldn't be a static situation where I don't do nothing at home. I
Yeah.
can't enter the kitchen. You know, I can't help with laundry if necessary. It shouldn't be that static.
Okay. And JJ, what do you think?
It's a bit complicated because it's a bit complex it's really complex. Because in order to avoid issues like that, it's simple. I go for a house help that will do the cleaning.
Okay.
Yes, but not you don't touch my food, please. I do the cooking.
Okay.
Yes, but the house help can do the cleaning, the washing, and we all good. You know, the house will always be clean, always. Yeah.
But I want to know, what's the big issue with the man helping out in the house?
I didn't say a man shouldn't help.
Okay.
Okay. He can help. People are different.
Yeah.
People have different mindsets, and you can find one Mr. Alco that will be really available to help you, as well as you find another Mr. Alco that will be like, it's none of my business. So, like I said, for me to avoid all of the blah, I'd rather get a house help that will do the cleaning and the washing.
And if you can't afford one, not every family, let's remember that the majority of the families and the majority of people watching us are people who are probably managing, you know. Not everybody can afford, very few Cameroonians can actually afford the house help. Some people are living in just a one bedroom, let me call it a one bedroom apartment where it's just a room and you have everything, or you are
my dear Manda,
studio.
If you are living,
they can't afford Manda, help.
If you are living in a one bedroom or a studio, what's more than you as a woman to clean it and move on?
All right.
Why do you even have to try to compare or share? I mean, it's so easy. Do the thing and move on.
There is no comparison in marriage. I don't compare with my husband. We are in this together. We are working towards making it work. My cousin has lived with me for 8 months, and she told me that she has learned something from me, that she has lived with many people, and she has never stayed in a house where couples did not fight or quarrel. That was what she told me. There's never been an instance where she saw me twisting my face or, you know, being rude to my husband, and she told me that it's scarce. She has never seen that anywhere. But I am the woman who thinks that my husband should help me in the kitchen when necessary. It's not, when you have that mentality, it doesn't mean you're a nagging wife, because he said that people with that mentality are somewhat nagging. Yeah. I'm not a nagging wife.
Maybe a majority of people with that mentality are nagging, trust me on that.
I'm not. If I think that my husband should help me when necessary, it doesn't mean that I want to come home and if he didn't do it, I'll start saying that, hey, why didn't you do it? No, I'll do it, but you know, if he does it, it's going to be really nice. I was really happy. My husband, he said that African women love for men to buy them, you know, jewelry and stuff. My husband has done that for me, good. But I had more pleasure when he made food for me. It was really nice. I mean, I was like, wow. And those are some of the things that made me choose him.
Okay.
The difference, Rena, is you are saying your husband can help you when it's necessary, okay?
Yes.
But some women would want their husbands to help them all the time. It's not really help them. Like, try to say, you do this, I do this, you do this, I do this.
That's where
you know, that's the difference.
No, that's the difference.
There's a very big difference.
No, I'm not saying that, you know, my husband must
if
your husband
is helping you when necessary, it means that you already know at the back of your mind that you have to do it before he comes and gives you a helping hand.
And it's not only about cooking. I am of the ideology that if it's possible for me to fix whatever in the house, I will fix it. It's not only about cooking. It, you know, cuts across everything concerning me and my husband. It's not only about cooking.
Okay.
Where necessary, I am there 100%, 110%, not only about cooking. Okay. I am supposed to be there for him at every level. I think it should be reciprocated.
Let's use Enos' example. For example, let's use his example where he said, say the car breaks down, for example. Are you the type, or do you think a woman should jump on it and not just depend and wait for their husband and not just call and say, car has a problem, come here right now? Are you of that
when
opinion?
I did driving classes, I was taught how to change a tire and all that. I think if I can do it, there's no point calling my husband from Yaoundé to start making calls in Douala to come and fix a car for me. If I can do it, I don't, yes, it's not about being so dependent on one person. You understand? I don't feel like if I can do it, then why call him?
All right.
Well, let me. I was.
Okay, Gigi, quickly,
I had to get to that point, that particular point, because he kept mentioning it. Now, why do you even think that if your wife calls you that her car, she had a breakdown, it means you're being too manly? Besides, she mustn't call you. Me, for what, I have my mechanic. I don't need to call my boyfriend or my husband to tell him my car broke down. No, I'll call my mechanic straight. Like, yo, I'm at Bonaberry, my car broke down, meet me there. You know. Or I look around, I mustn't call my husband. I mustn't.
Okay. I mean, we are not. I don't know, smile. We are not. You know, it's not an exchange of any kind. We're just discussing generally.
Sure.
Okay.
Exactly.
It's just generally. From time to time, we use examples, some even personal, just to make the points clear, just so you get exactly what it is we are talking about. Do you have any reaction to that?
It's so beautiful at times when you sit with women and you get their point of view.
Yeah.
But there are some realities that we need to face.
Yeah.
When women, and that's the beauty about the way women behave. When they have issues with their car, they know they have a husband. And do you know why she has that in the back of the mind? Because it's an aspect of security. You get it? She's not doing like saying that it's the husband's responsibility.
Well, yeah.
She is doing it because she knows there's that aspect of security whereby the husband knows, right, that he's a guarantor of the family's security. And that's why she's calling the husband. It's not like she's superior to the husband. Far from that. And that's why more often than not, the husband might easily leave the office, isn't it, to get that issue sorted out. He might not be, he will do some calls to ensure that where the wife is. Because when the car breaks down, you don't know the security of the environment.
Sure.
That call is not only to change the tire, it's also to ensure that the wife is secure.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty. When you understand it that way,
That's true.
it gives you that beauty.
So if you have a wife who thinks she can manage small stuff like that and not call you, do you feel less of a man because your wife tries to manage things and not put a whole lot of work on you?
No, already calling me is not because she
No, I'm asking if you feel less of a man. If you have a wife who does that, do you feel less of a man? You think that she's, bossy?
The question is to all men, of course. No.
Yeah. Do you feel like if she can manage all of that?
Okay. Rena, I think you understood the question. Let's give him a chance to answer.
She's not being bossy calling me. She's not being bossy. I'm the husband. Who else should she call?
No, I'm saying that if she does not.
If she doesn't call me, isn't it?
If she can manage it, do you
It means
feel
I'm
less
not
of a
even
man?
aware. If you don't call me, it therefore means I wasn't aware that you had an issue, isn't it? And maybe I got home in the evening and you let me know that, hey,
That's what happened.
this is what happened. I'll be like, oh, I'm even surprised that you had a solution to that. How did you do it? Isn't it? Maybe you now start doing the narratives. Like, this is, you called X, Y, Z, and the issue was resolved.
And I'm
isn't
asking
it?
But I'm very sure I'm very sure as a man you still feel worried. Like, why didn't you call me right?
No, of course, I might feel worried, but I will not feel worried in the sense like maybe you're taking maybe some responsibility out of me.
Yeah, sure.
I'm more worried in the sense like,
What if something had
I want to
happened?
give you a practical example. If you have a breakdown at 9 p.m. at the Paul route, it's so risky. 5 minutes, Manda, you'll be robbed. And if you have a scenario like that, the first person you think of is your husband.
Sure.
And at that point in time, when you call the husband, when the husband finds out where are you, you tell him that you are at Paul. I can guarantee you, in the next 2 minutes, he'll be there. Because the place is so insecure. His problem now is not about the changing of the tire of the car or to ensure. His major problem is your security.
Okay. All right. So, looking at everything, we only have a few minutes before the end of the show. Looking at everything and looking at our realities of today, because times have changed. If we are being really honest, there are women who contribute to the house. Does it mean the man who expects the woman to do the cooking, the cleaning because she's the woman, would also not expect the woman to contribute to the upkeep of the family? I want to ask you that question, JJ. A woman who contributes to the financial weight of the family, who contributes in paying the bills, contributes in paying the house rent, do you also expect her to do everything and not hope that the man can at least lend a hand every now and then?
Manda, what's everything? That you have to clean your own home is everything. That you have to cook food that you will eat. That your husband will eat. That the husband eats too. Eat.
If the husband cooks to eat.
that your husband will eat. Your husband at the end of the day is your baby. Okay? If you want your baby to grow well, to look good, it all depends on you. He's your baby. You have the right to take care of him and make him look good. You know, he's your baby. He's like one of your kids.
Right.
All right, and I believe your husband would treat you too like one of his kids.
Okay.
So it's reciprocal. I don't see why it should be
She's
an
saying that
issue.
it's reciprocal, which means that he should give a lending hand.
No, he mustn't give a lending hand like that. Your same husband is working, right? And he can still he will give you a treat. He will take you out, buy you stuff, get you gifts and all of that. Like he said, it mustn't be cooking. It mustn't be cleaning. It's your home. Come on, for crying out loud. It's your home.
But it's it's the man's home as well.
It's his home too.
Amanda, you are the woman, okay? You are not the man. You are the woman.
Okay. But you are contributing. As in, you're contributing financially to the house. You are the woman, but you're contributing financially to the house.
Even if you're contributing financially.
Okay.
Even if you used your money in cooking, you used your money and bought the food stuff and cooked the food. That's no reason why you should think that your husband has an obligation to help you wash.
Okay.
To help you cook.
All right.
Okay. It's simple. Listen.
Sorry to cut in there. Just to inform our televiewers that the numbers are up already, and so feel free to call for the few minutes we still have remaining. Maybe we can take one or two callers. But before then, we received a message on our page. We've been asking people to write, and they've been sending us messages. I'm going to try to read at least one. This one is really lengthy. I'm going to see how far I can go. Okay, right. We already have a caller. Oh, sir, you're welcome on board the diary. What's your name and what would you like to contribute? You're already on air. We can hear you.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay.
Look, the matter is a book by itself. This husband and wife's contribution financially and whatsoever. Let me give you my initials. My names are Mr. Obi Ebai.
Okay, Mr. Ebai.
From Linden.
Great.
Yes.
Carry on, sir. You have our attention.
It's a matter of love. Love between these two people. I personally, I always like to cook if my wife is not well. And I would like to contribute whatever it needs. So it all depends on the love between you and your husband.
Okay.
My age is 73 years.
Wow. Wow.
And what I have encountered about husband and wife is too broad. That when I start talking here, you need a critic from the MTS.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Ebai.
So all of you are sitting there. All of you are sitting there are all my children.
We are indeed. Even some of us are your grandchildren.
Yes. So I'm a happy man to hear this type of conversation.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Ibai, for calling us. 73-year-old from Limbe. We imagine that he has a lot of experience, and he has shared that with us. We'll still be able to take 1 or 2 more callers, but before that, let me quickly read through this message. Hello, Mrs. Manda. My name is Christine from Côte d'Ivoire. I'm following the TV debate right now. My opinion is every woman should know how to cook because because it's 95% of a woman's duty to know how to cook, and I think every husband should be willing and ready to assist their wives when they need steps. I'm just reading as I see it. Steps in. My husband helps with me with every chore. I mean every chore, including washing and cooking. When I was pregnant, he does more of all these than I was doing, and when I gave birth, he was my helper. My mom couldn't come from Nigeria. I was alone with my husband. Even with my stitches, he assisted in all the chores till now. He keeps doing them, and the truth is, I see him as a different man. In fact, I'm proud of him. The male speaker, Mr. Eno. There is no title in marriage if it's really true. Then why should it? If it's really true, then why should it be that it's the duty of the wife to do all chores, and yet the work same time and even assist their husbands in the finance and provision of the family? It's a question for you,
There is gender in marriage. It means I'm the husband, she's the wife, isn't it? But I don't go by saying that I'm a doctor, you are a chartered accountant, you are a journalist. That's what I'm scraping out from.
Let's be clear. When I cited that example, I did not mean to say what they did. They could be a buy and sell, and it doesn't matter. But the fact that they have something that keeps them busy on a daily, that's the point we're trying to bring into the debate. That the woman participates. It's chiefly the man's responsibility to provide for the family, right? Right. You're supposed to take care of the bills and all the financial responsibilities. But what if the woman is chipping in? We are back again to this question. What if the woman is chipping in and Mr. Ebai called and said it's out of love? If you love your wife and you see she's back from work and she's tired, as an act of love, should the man not, help out with, the little things in the house instead of just, okay, I'm the man, I've paid the bills, now c'est toi qui gères, moi je ne suis plus là.
Manda, it's so uncomfortable when, let's say, you go to the house and maybe it's a woman, maybe giving money for family sustenance. It's uncomfortable. The man finds it so uncomfortable. Even though you are maybe doing the wonderful job that you're talking about, but the man finds it so uncomfortable. The man finds it so uncomfortable when it comes to defending the wife. Let's say there are family issues. The man will not sit quiet if he doesn't defend the wife. For women, for mother-in-laws, sister-in-laws, they should be careful because the man will always stand by the wife. Because the husband will find it so uncomfortable. Those are the areas where the man really finds it so necessary to give the woman support. Because at that point in time, you can't crush my wife, isn't it? I must uplift her spirit for her to understand she's married to me. And I tell you, most women will be blessed in that kind of scenario. Now, like the person from Côte d'Ivoire did say.
Yeah, the lady, thank you so much for writing to us, by the way, Christine. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I do appreciate a lot. But what I'm saying is, yes, the man can always step up, isn't it? But that shouldn't be the norm. That should be an exception. And reasons why she did say she's in stitches, isn't it?
Yeah, when she had a baby.
Those are the exception. Where the man will always step up. But don't take the exception to make it the rule. Because so many women will tell you, because I'm a director of this bank, I'm a finance this of this place, isn't it? I provide finances for the family. Consequently, if I'm in the office, you should be cooking.
Right. I don't agree either. I don't think it should be that way.
It should not be that way.
Now, we are running out of time. In conclusion, I'd like to have your final words on this. Should it be a one-size-fits-all in this case, or should it be more like what works on my family? If what works on my family is the man cooking and the woman doing other things, fine, for your family, works for you. That's it. Should that be a problem? So basically, I'm going back to the question: should it be a one-size-fits-all, or what works for a family is what they should do, Rena?
What works for a family? It should be what works for them, because some homes.
Okay, we'll take one last caller. Hello, good afternoon, madam. You're welcome on board the diary. What's your name and what's your contribution?
Hello?
Yes, hello. Good afternoon, madam. You're welcome on board the diary.
Good afternoon, Madam Melvis.
Okay, Madam Melvis, what would you like to contribute to the show today?
I really enjoyed the show, and I really appreciate the fact that we can start listening to such things on our own TVs. And my own take is, I believe that if there is a difference in gender, there is probably a difference in function.
Okay.
So the fact that we are different from one another means that there are functions that are reserved for women and there are functions that are reserved for men. But nevertheless, that doesn't take away the flexibility part of the functioning. Like Rena said something at the beginning of the show, she talked of compromising to make things work. Yes, there might be things that I'm, good at doing as a woman. There are things that men are good at doing as men, and that's why we come together to complement each other. And that's why if everybody is good at everything, at times our homes will be boring. So I have things that I'm good at, you have stuff that you're good at, we complement each other, and that makes our home very lively. But then if I fall short, like I hear we've been talking about, maybe if I'm sick or if I just gave birth, my husband should be flexible enough, or should be able to compromise and make it work at that moment. So, and I think that at some times we are caught up with the cultural issues, We as Africans, we have a culture that we grew up in. It's already like a mindset, it's already like parables. And so we are caught up between trying to copy the white man's culture and ours, and it's just bringing in conflicting ideas. But I think that if there is a difference in gender, there probably has to be a difference in function. But there should be that flexibility that makes it work at every time. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Madam Elvis, for calling. We appreciate your contribution. Sums up basically everything we've been discussing at this far. We have 2 minutes before the end of the show, so we can't take any calls. Maybe next week. So please, quickly, your final words before.
Yeah. So I would say that it should be unique for every family. There are families where women they don't do anything. They are completely housewives. And, I don't expect her to have any excuses for not keeping food, for, any kind of hunger in the house. But situations where the wife and the husband are out almost all day, there should be some flexibility where the husband steps in when necessary.
Yeah, okay.
That's
JJ, your final words before we end with
Yes, Manda, and women shouldn't think that they're doing their husbands a favor cooking for them. It's not a favor, it's a part of your duty as a woman.
Okay.
But on the other hand, that doesn't stop the man from giving a helping hand. We are in this together, so we can do it together.
Okay, and Eno?
Amanda, I think that the women from Osing they grew up to ensure that their husbands are highly respected in society. So I think that it's high time for women to be more responsible and to take their responsibility at hand and to ensure that there should be sustainability in their marriage.
Right. Well, thank you all so much. And to you, to televiewers who have watched, we hope that you learned something. If you have any more opinions that you'd like to share with us, which unfortunately could not get through to us, you can go to the diary on Facebook and leave us a comment or send us a message. We've seen those of you who have sent messages, we've seen them. Hopefully, we'll get to read them at another time on the show. Have a great weekend and take care. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.